What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about a brand new token today called B3 base token. I don't know if it's base token or if it's just B3. I'm going to read a little passage here. I was talking to Grok and asking what the tokenomics are. Okay, first and foremost, I want to be clear. We are going to look at the charts. We are going to do price predictions and everything and try to understand this and come up with a game plan for entering and exiting and seeing if it's a viable option as an investment. Before we do that, because this is a new coin, I don't even fully understand everything about it, and we're talking about it. The main point is to do analysis. I want to understand the tokenomics a little bit. So I'm going to read this, at least from what Grok told me here. I was asking about the tokenomics, and what we know about the tokenomics are that there is a max supply of 100 billion B3 tokens. As of right now, there's 21.3 billion B3 tokens in circulation. To the community and the ecosystem, 34.2% is granted to is allocated to that. 23.3% is allocated to the team, of which there is a 1 year 25% cliff, which means I think it's like 25% of it gets locked up. It's a vesting schedule in place for 1 year, and then over the next 3 years, month to month, the rest of that 23% gets unlocked for people. You know what? It might even be better, you guys, if I just show you what I'm looking at. Let me see real quick if I can do this. Hold on, because I have it in kind of a weird way. This way we can kind of read through it together. I think you might enjoy that more. So let's do that. Let's see. I think that should do it. Let me see. Am I right? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here we were. Team advisors 23.3%. Number 3, Player One Foundation supports Player One Foundation's efforts in advancing the B3 ecosystem, including strategic grants, partnerships, legal. Seems like marketing. I don't know. Investors, for those who supported B3's development, include early investors, 100 angel investors from various sectors. Right, these are your VCs and stuff like that. Like gaming and Web3 infrastructure. Okay, so it's something to do with gaming. Utility of B3's token. Staking. Okay, cool. Staking, governance, funding, and monetization for developers. Yeah. I'm not so excited about that as a speculator. As a speculator, by the way, no offense to the developers, but I don't care about how much you're making, right? This kind of stuff says, regardless of if the coin goes up or down, we're going to make our money, right? So as a speculator, I don't necessarily like hearing stuff like that, right? Regardless if this coin goes up or down in price, we've got enough tokens locked up that over a vesting period, we're still going to make money even if it doesn't do phenomenal. This isn't a positive to me. It's a fact. I'm glad to know it, but it's not a positive. Access to games, cool. Economic model. I'm not going to read through all this, but if you guys want to pause it and read through any of that, this is what Grok has to say about it. There's no links or sites or anything like that, but he does cite everything, or it cites everything. I don't know. Anyways, looking at B3 now, I think we can do some chart analysis now instead of that horrible fundamental attempt at analysis there. We're looking at this thing at 1.6 cents. We're on the hourly time frame. This thing came about literally like a day ago. Looking at this here, it's been 29 hours that this thing's been in existence, okay? It's already on Coinbase. It's sold off a lot. And what's interesting is the market cap is super low. 287 million, you guys. That's pretty damn low. And I'm going to refresh this to make sure. 305 still, it could be 505. It's still a very low market cap. It puts this in a rather precarious situation because there's not enough history on the charts right now to determine if it's really a viable option. And by the way, I want to say this first and foremost. I actually want to get this out of the way. In response to what I started the video with, you should all do your research and figure out what this coin is, what it does. Best to understand the tokenomics and read the white paper or light paper or whatever it is that is available. Do your research. I gave you the Spark notes, and even then, not really. It was like the dumbed down version, right? I'm just really trying to make a video on this, not really teach you about it, right? The things I'm trying to do as far as teaching goes is technical analysis. But do your own research. If you want to invest in this token based off anything that I say, if I'm like, this thing could go all the way up here, you better not buy off of that. You better look into this, determine if it's something you can get behind, and then that way you can actually truly believe in these targets if they ever are to come. And I do suspect this thing will do well. I'm surprised this was made by Coinbase. It's very clear. I think that it was made by Coinbase, right? Because if you type in B3 USD, it's on Coinbase. Okay, it's on MEXC too. Some other things. I don't know. Is it not a Coinbase made token? I don't know. For some reason, I was assuming that it was. It just says base here. Let me look up. Let's actually see if Grok knows that too. Let's see. Is B3 made by Coinbase? I typed in buy, like B-U-Y, because I'm so used to buying. Is not directly made by Coinbase. However, there's a connection through the team members. So no, but yes, right? This is so what this is saying is, because Grok only knows what he sees on the internet, or it sees on the internet, right? No offense, it's an it. It's not. I feel like calling him a he is actually demeaning, right? You're not human, Grok. You're an AI. That's you've got advantages and disadvantages there, but the fact that it's saying this, I'm thinking that means that yes, it is made by Coinbase. They just don't want the liability of it of being associated with Coinbase, right? Same thing with like XRP and Ripple, right? In the beginning when XRP came out, everybody called it Ripple, but Ripple was really clear about no, we're not the same. Because if you associate it with that's the only reason that the SEC had a leg to stand on when suing XRP. But XRP is a separate thing from Ripple. It's probably the same thing going on here. It's made by Coinbase, right? But not made by, it's not directly made by Coinbase, but it's made by the same team members, basically, right? So anyways, Coinbase token here. I am surprised that it didn't drop off a whole lot whenever it first came out, but that also might be because the people that are operating Coinbase, the people that operate these big exchanges, the second largest crypto exchange in the world, they understand how things operate. And because this is their own token, whether that's assumption or not, and I think it is, I think it's a safe assumption to make, they might be lighter on it. And what I'm saying by this is, generally speaking, when most cryptos come out on Coinbase, you see a 65% drop or more. Generally, and it doesn't have to happen in the first hour. And in fact, it could still happen from here. But you see some kind of miraculous drop, and that's why I'm having a hard time talking about any kind of upside, because first off, we don't have a lot of chart to go off of. Second off, I don't want to tell you that this thing's going to go to 14 cents or $10 or whatever. Here we are at 1.5 cents now, when it could very well drop all the way down to half a cent again before moving up, right? We really could see a lot of volatility. It could move to new all-time lows before moving up again. I do believe it moves up. I want to learn more about this, but before you invest in it, whoever you are, hit that like button and subscribe if you're liking the video so far. You should do your own research. So let's do some real technical analysis. We've come this far. Okay, if you stuck this far with the video, you deserve this. Okay, let's do some very simple basic TA here. We don't have too many price points to go off of. Let's look at this on a 15-minute time frame, so it gives us a little bit more to go off of. First and foremost, I don't care what time frame you're in, that's a very bullish bottom. That right there, that kind of W shape, that's nice. That's really nice. Not only that, but within your W, you have this kind of ascending triangle look where you have a flat top and ascending lows coming in, right? You've got that alongside with this W shape. It's just phenomenal. It's a great bottom. Volume coming in as you're building higher. Everything about this looks healthy to me, man. Every single thing about it. So looking at the relative high to the relative low, base USDC. Do we want USDC or do we want US? We might want USD, right? USD might be better, high to low, because there's going to be more volume there. Yeah, so we found resistance at the 200. That's actually been a very common thing for a lot of cryptos, is to go just above their 200, not going to lie. Down to your 1414 and now up again. It's not completely conclusive, but what I will say is you found support right at your previous areas of resistance. You had a nice reaction off of that. As you moved down, your volume died off, and it's only continued to die off. As you moved up, volume was increasing. I don't know, man. I think you're moving up from here. Not financial advice, not your financial advisor, but yeah, I bet you move up from here. Low to high, dude, when you pull back, generally in a strong move, what you do is you bounce off your 382. I'm not the only person that knows this. In fact, I would assume the people, the very sophisticated minds, more sophisticated than me at least, who operate this coin, who made this coin, the market makers that work at Coinbase, who watch my videos like a hawk, and they learned every single thing they know about technical analysis from me. No, that's not the case. I'm just trying to say this is a very basic thing. Bouncing off the 382 on a strong move. That's a very common thing. I'm sure I'm not the only person that's aware of that. You reached for it. This implies front running, right? Front running on the buy side of things. And that was a nice little peak in volume there, to be fair. And that came not just right above the 382, but right there, right above this previous area of resistance. So it's kind of a double whammy of an obvious buying place. Not only did you buy, not only did you bounce from there, but you saw an immediate kind of pullback up, and you're back above the 236. It's hard. You could very well go down here. You could go all the way down here. It's hard to say. I want to say you're going up, but you could still go down to the downside. Let's see, 15-minute time frame. I should have started with the RSI, because the 15-minute RSI does suggest we go lower. This is where we find some mental clarity for once. Higher lows, higher highs. You broke out of it, man. You've broken it. It's done now. You're not in the uptrend anymore. And on the 15-minute time frame, which is not significant at all, but for this thing, it's probably a very significant time frame. I'm assuming that over the hours, it's only the 15-minute time frame. Over the hours to come, maybe even over the day to come, you go a little bit lower. You bounced off the 50, rejected the 60, now you're back down. There's no doubt in my mind you're going lower. So not financial advice, not your financial advisor, but I wouldn't buy here at 1.4 cents. If I was looking to buy B3, I'd buy at 1.16 cents or lower. You might even go all the way down to your golden ratio. If you didn't find support here, right, if you didn't get continuation, likely you will go lower. My thoughts are you probably don't bounce at the 0.5, though I will say, even though that's not my general perspective, that is at 1 cent, a nice psychological level for support. A lot of cryptos have been finding support at their 0.5 area. I'm just saying, and beyond all of that too, beyond all of that, if we look at the price, the very first peak that you had here, boom, right there. Where is it? Right there at the 0.5, where you also found support here. So right around the 0.5, just below 1 cent, maybe that is where you bounce. Be prepared for that, okay? If you're looking to buy this thing, be prepared for that. It very well could bounce right around $0.0099, okay? Just so you're aware. But generally speaking, with this look, I would expect you to go to the golden ratio, which is that 0.00846 to 0.00768, somewhere in this zone, just below this high here, just kind of on top of this like little shelf right here before you moved up. You could go lower. You really could go lower. A lot of cryptos have been doing this thing where they bypass their golden ratio to and see deep. It's not easy to guess, but if I had to guess and give you an official range, I would say 0.6 cents to 1 cent is where you're going to go. If I was looking to buy this thing, if I had interest in buying this thing, which I might, I don't know. I haven't done my own research yet, and you shouldn't know either unless you've done your own research. But if I had interest to buy this thing, I personally, the way that I am, I'd probably start buying at about 1 cent and as soon as it goes lower. Because I would never assume that you bounce off the 0.5 in a situation like this, but I'm almost curious to see if you do. Right? Like I really am curious to see if you do, because a lot of cryptos have been doing that. Corrective phases generally are 1, 2, 3-legged phases, and a third leg that would be bigger than your first leg. That's pretty common. That would take you down to your 0.5. I mean, to see it go all the way to the golden ratio, that's a pretty big leg, but it can be big, whatever, you know. Hard to say. As we get closer to 0.6 cents all the way down here, I think it's a lot less likely. If I really had to guess, I'd say between $0.00846 to $0.0099, somewhere in that range is where I think we're going to go. If I think we're going to go in this range, I would likely buy just above it. I'd probably buy just right around a cent or just above that there, and then layer in as it goes down. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. That's literally just what I would do. That's my opinions. That's how I would go about it. That is how I go about it. In fact, if you've been watching the channel, you should know that anytime I make a purchase, if you just wait an hour, if you wait a day, oftentimes the price goes lower than where I purchased, and that's by design. I want you guys to get in at good prices, not at crappy prices, right? A lot of people on YouTube, what they do is they'll get in over here, and then after it's done its glorious move up, they want all the credit, and they'll be, I bought way back here. I knew that, but then they'd say it over here. So then what does that do to all their viewers? That makes them want to buy the top where they bought back here, and then they tell it to you here. They're likely selling it to you at the worst time. I don't like that, right? Oftentimes I'll say I'm going to buy something, and I will buy before I actually think the low comes in. So all I'm saying by that is not really to toot my own horn. It's really more of just a practice and an explanation of how I go about things. If I'm talking about buying just above 1 cent, understand I mean that. I would, if I was looking to buy this thing, and I don't know enough about it yet, but if I was looking to buy this thing, the way that I am, would buy just above 1 cent, fully expecting the price to go lower, okay? So if you're trying to copy me, if you're trying to take what I say and do it word for word, understand you're not going to buy the lows. That's not my style. It's not my style at all. And that might be counterintuitive to some people. Be in the investing game long enough, be in the trading game long enough, you'll figure out what I mean. It's not about buying the lows, man. It's about catching the majority of the move with as much as you can, right? Getting that DCA in at a good level, getting the DCA out at a good level as well. If you try to catch the absolute high or try to catch the absolute low, if you're using real money, you're not going to get all your money out there. You're not going to get all your money in there. There's not enough liquidity at those levels, right? So you have to be okay with generalizing it. I don't know. If you're using small amounts of money, okay, try to focus on the tips because the tips matter more, but they don't matter as much whenever you're dealing with large amounts of money because you can never fully sell at the tips. There's not enough. Look, imagine you have $1,000, right? Okay, you'll be able to sell there, no problem. Now imagine you have $1 million. If you put $1 million sell orders up here, you're not going to get it. There's no chance in hell. You know what I mean? So it's not about catching the absolute highs. If you try to capture what I'm doing, tit for tat, you likely will miss the lows. I'm just saying that as an example, okay? But I do believe it's going lower, around 1 cent, if not maybe 0.0085 cents. I think that's what I said, as low as 60% of a penny. I got nothing else for you guys. If you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. If I was wrong and it were to go higher and not go lower than this low, and it were to go higher and prove me wrong, I would need to see the price on a 15-minute basis close above 1.84 cents. Being at 1.44 cents, that's not necessarily ideal, right? You'd miss out on what kind of percentage growth would that be? You would miss out on a 26-30% move almost, right? To close above 1.84 cents, that would invalidate the notion of going lower, but that's what it takes, man. Because guess what? You might miss 26 to 30% there, but if you buy there at the breakout point, hell, even if you buy at new all-time highs, let's say you buy right there at 2 cents, the minimum target is 2.2 cents, so that's good for a 10% move. The next target and the likely target would be the 1618 at 2.6. That's another 30%. So you missed one 30% move, but you can catch the other one in a lot less of a risky situation, where here you could buy it. Sure, you could catch this whole enchilada, but what if it goes lower? And then you could have bought lower there. You know what I mean? It's more risky right now. If you want to be risky, cool. Nothing wrong with DCAing, right? Don't let me stop you. And then this is where I guess we'll get to the good part. Right before we end the video, we're at a $300 million market cap now. This thing just came into existence. It has a pretty big, I'm assuming a pretty big cooperation, partnership, whatever, with Base, even though it's decentralized and all that. I understand it's decentralized. Seems like it was made in America, made by the Coinbase team, as Grok said. So it's likely going to, Coinbase is an American exchange, right? It's the biggest exchange, second biggest exchange in the world, biggest exchange in America. Likely, if Trump tax exempts American cryptos, that'll have this going for it as well. Being at $300 million, I don't think that you're capable of seeing a $100 billion market cap or more by the end of the cycle, B3. I don't think you're capable of that, but I do think you're capable of seeing a 100x or more. 300 million means that to see a 100x, you'd have to see a $30 billion market cap. I could see that, 30 billion, 60 billion, 90 billion. Once you get to that kind of range, you're getting a little bit unrealistic, I think, for your first cycle, especially. I don't care what coin you are. It's possible, but I very much doubt it. Likely, this thing it absolutely has 100x in the bag. If it doesn't have 100x in the bag, something around there. But certainly, I think it has miraculous amounts of growth and potential to go, just based on its market cap alone and based on the tokenomics, which don't start unlocking really until a year from now into the bear market, and then even then going into the next bull market. I think the tokenomics are sound. But I haven't done enough research yet to determine if it's right for me, and you should do your own research too before determining if it's right for you. I've got nothing else to say. I just wanted to make this video at the request of our friend, the Knight Rider of the North. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. I appreciate you all for being here. I'm going to go to bed. Take it easy. Bye-bye.